It was the year 2006. I was around 7 years old. Our family lived in the residential area of the textile mill in Noshra. The textile mill was a big area with large grounds and some colonies, and there was a jungle surrounding the whole textile mill built during the British Empire. My grandfather was the director sales of the mill and got promoted. He was given 2 bungalows side by side. The bungalows were built in the 1940s by the British. They were built in an old-fashioned way with big gardens in the front and 2 big garages at the back. In 2006, when we shifted because we lived in a joint family at that time, the bungalows were divided between 5 brothers all living together. Out of the 4 brothers, 1 was unmarried, so he lived in the guest room. There was this one room in the second bungalow which was kept closed, and the previous people who lived in the house said that it was closed since 20 or more years. My uncle said that he does not want to shift there until he gets married. Anyhow, time went by, and in 2007 he got married. Before his marriage, the room was opened. There were locks and chains on the door, and we couldn't find any key to open it. They called a handy tool guy to open it up, and as soon as we opened it, it smelled like a person has been degraded in there. My grandpa had it cleaned up, and then my new aunt and uncle shifted in the room. My aunt always used to tell my grandma she suffocates at night during the first 2 weeks. One night, my aunt was alone as my uncle went on a business trip. She said that around 1 a.m., she was reading a novel when she heard a noise in her washroom. She went there and couldn't find any source that could have made the noise. When she came out of the washroom, she saw a figure in the mirror of her dressing table, and it vanished in no time. She did not sleep in the room that night and told my grandma about it in the morning. She did not believe her and was telling her that she was hallucinating. She experienced a lot of activities in her room during his husband's business trip and was getting paranoid day by day. Anyway, the paranormal activities did not happen when her husband came back, and everyone thought that she is being paranoid. After a year, they had a baby and everyone was happy. Gifts were coming in and the room was being set for the baby, and there came and was a baby swing. My uncle went away on a trip after a month. My uncle's room and my room was in front of each other at a distance of 25 steps, and both opened to the garden of the bungalow. My aunt and me were sitting with each other around 11 p.m. and we were playing with the baby. We heard something outside in the garden and we looked through the mirror. We saw a woman standing at the other end of the garden in white clothes with her hair open. At first we thought it was my dad's and her husband's sister. So we were like, okay, no worries. My aunt went to ask her what she was doing outside in the middle of the night and told me to stay with the baby. After a few seconds, I heard my aunt scream and everyone rushed outside asking her what happened and why she was screaming. She told them that she saw a woman with a disfigured face and no one was believing her, thinking that her mental state was not okay. Then she told them that I saw it too, and I also agreed with her, but they thought that I'm a kid and was playing along with her. Since that day, the paranormal activities took a rise and started happening everywhere in between those 2 bungalows. My other uncles and aunts were experiencing it too. One night, my aunt was sleeping when the baby swing in her room started swinging on its own. My grandma stayed the night with my aunt, considering her mental health as her husband was out of town. The The room and the windows were closed, so there was no excuse of winds causing the baby swing to move. My grandma woke up and saw the baby swing moving. She got up and went close to it. As soon as she sat down to check it, she was looking down, and as soon as she looked up, she saw a woman with a face bright like the moon, with big eyes weeping out tears and smiling at her face. My grandma screamed and she went into a cardiac arrest. My aunt woke up and called everyone in the house, and they rushed to the hospital. My grandma was in a coma for 3 months, and no one knew the reason behind her health. During those 3 months, everyone faced and saw a lot of paranormal activities going on in the house. When she woke up after 3 months, she was not in the state of explaining anything, only then that of telling us to leave the house. My aunt yelled I was telling the truth. The room is haunted. My grandfather and my uncles went to a Malvi and called him to perform a khatmoquran of the room. The Malvi had asked about the status of the room before shifting, and after us shifting there, and they had told him it was locked by chains and locks. He asked my elders to explain the locks and chains. They explained, and he told them that an exorcism was performed here before them. Those locks and chains were assigned to not open this room. Anyway, he came in and performed a khatmoquran. After that day, everyone left that bungalow, and 2 of our uncles and my dad shifted to different cities. The rest, including my grandparents, lived in the first bungalow, and the second one was locked down. After my granddad's retirement, they too left the house, and in the flood of 2010 in Nowshera, Pakistan, a textile mill was planned to be taken down and all the residential areas around it for a new housing scheme. My uncles told my dad when the workers took the bulldozer to take down the bungalow that was haunted, they heard screams and crying of a woman when they went near to take it down. That house is still there present, and no other living specie comes near it. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share so that I'm more enthusiastic about making videos that are more interesting.